are back. Chitown Lowdown, episode 22. We are going in to not the divisional round, but the
conference championship.
Championships?
Conference
championships. That was stupid. All right. But, we're getting into the games. We had Tom guessing the lines earlier. So, Tom, you want to give us what the lines are looking like right now?
Yeah, I just want to refer back to how nice Borgo looks right now. And he had his headshots today, I heard. So, just wanted to shout you out there.
I think he looks like a potato.
Well, first off, I want to go. I want to say that I think I won last week with a 3-1 record. So any of you listeners out there, just follow my lead. I obviously have the big brain here, and that's where I'm going to leave it. But what was your question?
That big brain hard at work.
No, the victory lap over. And Tom, he was really just looking for somebody to clap back at him, and we're all just like, yeah, no, it's not a big deal. There were only 4 games last week. The week before that, we beat his ass. Week 18, he got trounced.
Yeah.
Okay. But the lines. Let's go to the lines. So we'll start with the AFC. We've got Kansas City traveling to Baltimore. Right now, Baltimore is -4 in this game. Anybody want to kick us off? All right, I'll go. So,
you're wearing Kansas City Chiefs red.
Is that Blackhawks, Chicago. But not indicative of this pick for me whatsoever, because I do like Lamar and the Ravens in this one. What that defense did to C.J. Stroud last week was pretty impressive. 0 offensive touchdowns given up. They had that one big play on the punt return. That was the only touchdown that they gave up. But they suffocated them in the second half. Didn't really allow them to do much of anything. And Lamar is he's awesome. He's so fun to watch. And I think he's going to give this Chiefs defense some problems. Obviously, Mahomes is playing really well, so I think it'll be a test above and beyond what C.J. Stroud was able to show the Baltimore Ravens defense last week. So I think it will be a little bit closer of a game for sure. But I do like the Ravens on this spread covering -4 to and then to head to the Super Bowl in a couple weeks.
They're so good. Their defense is so good. Okay, I guess I'll go then. Since I just wanted to make that commentary, I'll build off that. I too believe that Baltimore will cover the spread. I mean, we've been saying it's not the same Kansas City team. I think I did pick them last week, but it was kind of just like riding the hot hand at that point. Like they had been winning, so why wouldn't they keep winning kind of pick. This week, however, I do think their luck runs out, which goes against my last week's strategy entirely. But when have I ever bet logically? So, I think Lamar might see a little pressure from Kansas City's defense, but defense wins championships. Baltimore is far superior in this matchup, and they're going to take it home. So.
I enjoyed the games last week, and I particularly enjoyed Mahomes and how he played. And then, like, Lamar, just MVP all the way, in my opinion. Accurate. And that defense, I mean, I don't know. I like to go off – I'm looking at the injury report, and I like to kind of go off of that sometimes. And I was watching that Chiefs game, and it seemed like all their defense was getting hurt. And I'm going to take the Ravens.
Luke, don't do it. Don't do it, Luke. Or do
Okay, so on Tom's note here, I need to pull up the injury report. I don't remember anyone getting hurt, so I just want to make sure I'm just not having like amnesia right now.
I think it was the Chiefs. Yeah, it was the Chiefs. I was for sure.
Well, here's my thoughts while I'm pulling this up. So Baltimore, obviously, finishing the season really strong. I agree with what you guys are saying about, how entertaining Lamar is to watch, how good that defense is from top to bottom. They played really, really well. There's some, Roquan's on the team, so there's that aspect of it where it's just like, God, just go get it, Roquan. Saw a clip of him last week, kind of mic'd up situation. That guy is just a football player. God, it's so nice to watch. I miss him. So I do have Chiefs injury report pulled up. Let's see here. Did not participate today. Derek Nottie on the D line, Sky Moore, Pacheco, Joe Thuney. But other than that, everybody was a full participant today. So
What about? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yesterday, I'm seeing L'Jarius Sneed was on.
Yeah.
So that
L'Jarius
could
Sneed,
be something to watch,
he
especially
was
it's
the limited participant along with Willie Gay, which would be big as well. But my thought is if you're limited at this point in the week, you're probably going to play in the AFC Championship game. So,
sure.
Do you guys think Mark Andrews is going to play?
Andrews, looking at Baltimore,
You've already looked at the injury report, Tom. You tell us.
He was a full participant today.
Full practice, yeah. FB.
So yeah, I am really pulling for Baltimore here. I'm taking the Chiefs +4. And it's Patrick Mahomes' everything until somebody does something about it. And as far as I do think Baltimore I do like them to win the game, but I think this is going to be tight. And maybe like Justin Tucker, long field goal to win the game. That's not going to cover. So I'm going to take the Chiefs +4. You guys are all on Baltimore, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like
this is a long 4 points, a big 4 points. It's not a,
Yeah. I mean, with these two teams, I do think 4 is a larger spread. I wouldn't be shocked if I looked at this line and it was like 2.5. So, I do like Kansas City to cover. And I'm hoping and praying that Baltimore just pulls it off. Maybe they don't cover.
I feel like you look at the Ravens overall team.
It worked for me last week with Tampa Bay. You guys were all on.
Tampa Bay didn't cover last week.
That's factual.
Tampa Bay. Who did that work for?
They lost by 8.
Oh, damn it. I'm still taking Kansas City.
Luke,
Green
I was
Bay?
right there with
Green
Kansas
Bay?
City. I mean, I was right there because that's what I took last week, and I feel like you took the Bills. Well, someone else took the Chiefs with me.
Maybe I was thinking Green Bay, San Fran, which Tom and I were on the right side of.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Oh, we all took the Chiefs last week.
But I'm going Chiefs +4. Let's see the Ravens prove it. I hope they just go out and beat the living dog shit.
It is funny. We all picked the Houston +9.5 against the Ravens last week, and then this week we're all on the Ravens versus Kansas City. We were all on
Luke's Chiefs.
Yeah, let's talk about why that was for a second. I think it was there was an emotional bias there coming in, seeing what Houston did in week 18 in the first round of the playoffs, not having seen Lamar Jackson and the full strength Ravens since week 17. There was a recency bias and an emotional bias tied to CJ Stroud as a rookie and D'Amico Ryans as a rookie head coach. I just think that it felt like there was momentum, and a lot of these picks are driven by emotion. Like we try to remove emotion from these and be analytical, but it's a difficult thing to do. And the recency bias thing of Houston coming off these 2 huge wins, you just expected them to kind of continue that Cinderella story, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen that way. So, I think that was kind of a wake-up call for us, and we do understand and now see again that the Ravens are this crazy good team this year. And, even going up against Patrick Mahomes, obviously they're the favorites in Vegas. That says something alone. I'll bite. Pat was he was an underdog last week, and he proved everybody wrong. So it's not out of the question it doesn't happen again. But from what I've seen out of this Ravens team, or what I saw out of them last week, and what we did see out of them during the regular season a few times, they should have everything that they need to be able to take care of the Chiefs.
It's at Ravens, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
In Baltimore.
I mean, I think it's like the racehorse thing, you know. Like once a racehorse wins a few times, they don't run as hard, you know. Like they've already tasted victory. Like it's just one of those things. Like teams are dynasties, right? But then always every empire falls, you know. And I just think that Lamar wants it so bad. When you look at like a comparison between Patrick Mahomes and Lamar, like this, they're not even on the same.
You don't think Mahomes wants it?
Nah, I mean, he's a competitor, right? Like he competes, but like he's already tasted the, you know.
Sometimes that makes you want it even more. You want to strive for the greatness of Tom Brady.
Yeah, Morgo, I get what the point you're trying to make in terms of like you're kind of, you're not as motivated as that defending champ or, the team that's been there more often. I do think what Tom is saying though, every so often there is a guy that's just like, he doesn't need any extra push. He has everything he needs in his own head. It's like Last Dance. It's like Tom Brady, where it's just like, what'd that guy say? Okay, you guys are fucked now.
Yeah.
And no one even said anything. They create that fire in themselves. I think Mahomes is one of those guys. I will say, to your point though, I don't know if you guys had like seen it last week, but like, if you watched Lamar's demeanor last week during that game, like we really paid attention to him, like they'd show him after plays and stuff like that. I haven't seen him like that before. He seemed very ultra engaged with the rest of the team, where it was like
laughing and stuff though, like having fun too.
I didn't see him laughing. I saw him being extremely serious.
Not laughing.
I'm not saying he wasn't, Tom. I'm just saying, like the clips that I'm referring to, he was like, it was just a ultra type of focus that I was seeing from him. Yeah. And you don't always think of Lamar as that person, but last week he seemed really locked in. Every missed throw was like a discussion with this guy afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think, this is the right team to beat the Chiefs. I think this is an awesome matchup. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah. Good
On
thoughts.
to the next one.
All the way around. I want to point something out. But piggyback off what Luke just said, there was one play I can remember in particular where Lamar, it was a design quarterback run to the left side, kind of outside the tackles, almost behind the wide receiver. And he almost broke free, but he didn't quite make it. He got tripped up and he went to the ground and he did like he was pissed because he knew if he broke one more, I think some guy clipped his ankle and he
Christian Harris. Yeah. I know what play you're talking about.
And Lamar, he wants it this year. So moving on, NFC, we have the Lions of the NFC North traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. And the Niners are 7-point favorites in this game.
We have got an interesting injury report on this one. Tom, you got it pulled up?
I don't. You do, though.
How about the weather, Tom?
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like 60s and a nice night in San Fran.
What about the Baltimore game? Maybe we should have touched on that.
I'll pull it up real quick. Talk about the injuries real quick.
Yeah, Jamie, pull that up for me real quick. Don't sue us. Seriously.
It's not going to be cold. I'll tell you.
Don't sue us. He says. I've got it.
Yo, if you're watching right now, seriously.
What day is it?
I have the Lions injury report pulled up.
Yeah,
they play Sunday.
Oh, you got the Lions pulled up. I'll pull up the Niners.
I got them. I got them.
Oh,
yeah,
you got them
scroll
both.
down.
Okay.
I got them pulled.
We've all got it pulled up.
Wait, what day did the freaking 49ers play?
Yeah. So Tom, I'll get you that real quick.
Yeah.
So Niners Lions are going to play 3:30 West Coast time on Sunday.
Okay.
The Chiefs and the Ravens are going to play 3:00 Eastern time zone in Baltimore.
So while Tom's looking at the looking at the weather here,
So send both Sunday.
So in Central Time, Tom, it's 2:00 is the Ravens game, and 5:30 is.
Thank you.
is
Thank
the,
you. Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Local time on both of those. We don't know how to do time zones.
I don't know how to do time zones. For everybody watching, our group chat.
you know what? This might be the first time an audience has ever seen 4 people have like an aneurysm at once, like just simultaneous. Like nobody can do anything. Okay, so injury reports, right? So Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, both did not participate in practice today. Big strength for the Lions, obviously, is that line. Ragnow especially. His injury designation is actually kind of funny. It's ankle, toe, knee, and back. So this dude is just trying to come across the finish line here at the end of the season. I'm sure you know how linemen are. These guys like missing a toe or whatever, they're probably going to suit up and play or give it a shot.
They also interject real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was Ragnow the one who got rolled up on twice last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you guys say that, I think of Thor. Go
on. And then limited participants in practice today were Anzalone, Sam Laporta, Josh Reynolds. Obviously, all starters there. But I'd assume with like a limited participant tag on a Thursday, you'd probably be ready to go by Sunday for championship weekend. So that's Detroit. For San Francisco. Bosa's on the report, but didn't get a designation today. Debo's limited participant. Obviously, that's huge. I'm not sure what exactly it says shoulder. I would think he could tough out a shoulder. Debo's a beast. But he is also dinged up a lot.
I think it's lingering from earlier in the year. He had a shoulder injury.
Got it. But other than that, the 49ers are pretty healthy. Tom?
Yeah, so weather report here for the Ravens and the Chiefs. It's going to be there's no cold games because we're in a warm spill. So that's kind of out of the picture. But I think there may be some rain depending on when it comes. So you're saying it's a 2:30 start time?
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be there, but there could be a 1/4 inch of rain. So I picture it coming in the second half. There's definitely a possibility for rain.
Okay.
Also, if you guys live around here, it's the fog right now is an issue. I don't know how that plays into the stadium, but it's going to be foggy possibly. So
when you say live around here, do you mean like live in central Illinois?
Well, fun fact, this is the most fog weather advisory ever in like such a big area right now.
So it's like nationwide.
Yeah, there's probably, I don't know how many states. I'd say 10 or plus that are under a fog advisory. So it's just.
And if you've ever seen that movie, The Mist, then you should be worried.
Don't bring your kids to the game. It's not going to end well for them.
They'll get snatched. Okay.
Yeah, they'll get smashed. That's what happens.
So yeah, definitely more. It's going to be like nice as heck in San Fran. So don't worry about that game. But the Baltimore game is something to worth watching. I don't know.
I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, and it might have been Pardon My Take or something like that. But somebody was saying all San Francisco games should be played during the day because it's just the sun in California is just like you're squandering it by playing a night game. Yeah. And I was like, that's a good point. It is fun to just in like mid to late January to see football being played, and it just looks like it's the middle of the summer. It's just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
serotonin through the roof.
We need
It's just like when they do the Super Bowls in Miami and in Tampa Bay. And
real quick, before we pick this game, have you guys seen the conspiracy theory thing about the Super Bowl logo, color scheme, and the previous years?
Yeah.
Thoughts? So, I mean, that implies that there's going to be a Niners Baltimore
it's making me
Super Bowl.
want to not pick them. But
right. But
I'm having a hard
then
time.
also it's like, why would you not pick them? Because it's already established.
They also both appear to be the better teams.
I mean, it is really freaking weird.
Logo,
I will admit.
Do you think the person in the logo department takes a future on that outcome? And
I need more detail.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the person who's designing the graphic just really has an immense football knowledge and a grand ability of foresight, and is like, these are the two best teams. Like, we're gonna use their colors.
Hey,
logo.
That's a possibility, right?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's either that or it's scripted. So which one do you want to believe?
Is the NFL have this logo maker, or is it a third party? What is it? I need more information.
The possibilities are endless. Really.
When is the logo made? We need to know that.
That's a good question. Should we make a future bet as well as to what we interpret the logo to be representing? I mean, this one couldn't really be misconstrued that well.
What do you mean representing? It's
the team, the color. Yeah, the color schemes for the team. So, like, when the next logo comes out,
it's already out.
What the next logo will be?
Green.
Well, we need to first know when the logo comes out, because if it came, I'm gonna look it up right now.
This could be fake news.
What Super Bowl? What Super Bowl is this?
Lindy always tells me before I podcast, think before you talk. I didn't think before I talked. No, I saw a green logo, and I just kind of said it.
So that would mean possibly,
Seahawks.
Eagles, Seahawks, Packers.
It was like a dark green, I believe.
This is an article from February 13th, 2023. Okay. NFL unveils logo for Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So this was the day after the Super Bowl last year, and it's got the colors on it, the purple and the red.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have brought this up. I'm sorry.
Well, that person doesn't know who the best teams are at that point.
Well, maybe they're that good. That's the point that Jesse's making.
He's a god.
Then it supports it's scripted theory more.
Or it could be coincidence.
Or so
how far is this going back? How far is this
now? This is what Vegas is doing, because this really wasn't pushed that heavily until this year, right? The NFL logo conspiracy thing. So now they're going to release it on Monday after the Super Bowl this year, and they're going to fudge it. So everybody's going to try to interpret it and place their bets. It's going to be completely obvious who the teams are, right? They're going to say these two teams are going to be in the Super Bowl next year, and everybody's going to place these huge bets.
There's just a Chicago Bears logo in the background of it. Then people are going to be like, well, this is clearly not true any longer.
Nicolas Cage is going to be zooming in on it.
We need to get back on track.
Just one thing before we go. How many years before? How many years have they predicted the logo? How many years has the logo predicted the Super Bowl?
3 years. The last 3 years.
This would be the third. This would be the third year, right?
This would be the third year. Yes.
What would happen before then? We don't know.
I don't think they did the colors, or I don't know. Do we want to go down this rabbit hole a little bit further?
No, let's just leave it. Now the cat's out of the bag. It's going to be
those guys from Into the Storm are the ones that are creating the Super Bowl logos, and they're also controlling U.S. politics. Yeah. They're the ones that are really dividing the country.
All right, Jesse, figure that out.
Ravens Super Bowl
So they did not start adding the colors to the logo, it looks like, until Super Bowl 56, which was Rams Chiefs. Chiefs won. And the
So
colors
since
that
they
year were
started
red.
doing the color schemes, they have been accurate, basically.
That's weird.
That is kind of weird, but
So Vegas, start of the season, the odds of a 49ers Ravens Super Bowl were plus 6,000. Bet $10 to win 610. These odds dropped to plus 300 heading into the wild card round and plus 200 heading into the divisional round. The odds of a 49ers Ravens Super Bowl are currently minus 110.
I think it's a no-brainer.
all of that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I think it's a little.
It all makes sense.
Yeah,
They're the number one seeds. They were both. They weren't surprise teams at the beginning of the year, so a plus 600.
I would just like a little more juice there. I feel like to call out the both of the teams like through the entire playoff bracket and everything. You know, like plus.
Anyways, let's make a pick here on this game. How about that?
No. One more quick thing. Just kidding. No.
One more thing. So I'm going to go with Detroit here. Just probably out of I'm just being a homer, I think.
North.
But I do think that the San Francisco team they're not as good as they're hyped up to be. And I mean, I'll take credit for hyping them up all year long. But after that game with Green Bay last week, I think if Detroit comes ready to play, this is going to be a close game. Especially if Detroit can get those guys on the O-line healthy and run the ball. I'm going to steal a page out of Tom's playbook here.
Always.
Like I mentioned last week, San Francisco gave up 4.1 yards on the ground to opposing runners on the year. They gave 135 yards last week to Aaron Jones and the other backup for Green Bay. Not Dylan, but whoever that kid was. Detroit, obviously, we know their backfield is awesome with Montgomery and Gibbs. I think if they can kind of make this game, slow it down, keep the ball, keep it out of San Francisco's offense's hands, and kind of try to chew the clock, which is just like right up Dan Campbell's alley.
Like a kneecap.
Yeah, exactly. I think they can make this close. I can also see a scenario where this is like 31-17 in favor of San Francisco, but I'm not going to think that way. I'm going to take Detroit plus 7. Jared Goff going to Cali guy back home for the NFC Championship, trying to get back to the Super Bowl and show everyone like, hey, I've actually been to a Super Bowl before. You guys might have forgotten that, but I did go to a Super Bowl before. So give me the Lions plus 7.
I got some things here I want to say. So I'm gonna get them out.
The fog.
The Lions have been breaking streaks. Why wouldn't they win? Why couldn't they win? And unlike the Packers, I don't mind the Lions winning for some reason. Like, they're still in our division, they're rivals, but if the Packers were in the situation, I'd be like, I hate them. But I'm rooting for the Lions for some reason. And that Dan Campbell just craziness, I kind of just dig it, But on the other hand, if Debo's in, that's a big, I think, factor in this. Also, it's going to be nice weather, so Purdy and those small hands won't be affected by any rain or anything, sand, whatever.
Sand.
Just I was getting it like anything's going to throw that little hands out, There's a little sand grain in there.
Whenever you have small hands in the sand.
So this is a tough one, but I think the spread is getting me. It's big, but we've said
round numbers too, 4 and 7.
We've said on this podcast before, Vegas
big old girthy spread. Sorry.
That one threw Tom off. He got thinking about something else real
Dude, I
quick.
don't know what I'm going to pick. I came in wanting to do the 49ers, but I heard the spread. I'm gonna stick with the Niners. I think
Crazy.
they're going to be pissed at people talking about them not performing last week. That's kind of been the theme, that they weren't coached very well last week. Just things are coming out that they're not as good as they, like Luke said. And I think they'll bounce back. 49ers.
Jesse's been doing a lot of research. I want to go after him.
I'm still getting into this logo stuff. Because of the logo.
Obviously, I'm going 49ers.
49ers are going to win the game, obviously. I think if you don't pick them to win the game, you're dumb.
Yeah.
But I also think that the weapons on the 49ers offense are going to expose specifically the secondary of this Detroit Lions defense. And Kittle probably has a big game. McCaffrey, of course. Brandon Ayuk, I expect, is probably going to have a pretty big game as well. Even if Debo doesn't play.
Nothing last week.
On the other side of the ball, I mean, I like Jared Goff. I think he's got a good story, and he's a guy that everybody wants to see win, and it's easy to cheer for a guy like that. Maybe they're not quite there yet, though. You know, I think they've already exceeded expectations of kind of how far they were going to make it in the year. So I'm gonna go with the Niners on the spread. I do want to mention though, if the Chiefs and the Lions end up winning somehow, it would be a rematch of the first game of the year in the Super Bowl, where the Lions beat the Chiefs. So that would be kind of cool too. But that would be very against the logo. So no, that's not going to happen.
Red and blue do make purple, which is in the logo.
True. But then there's just red as well.
One thing you reminded me of, Jesse, before you make your pick, Wargo, is what?
Kansas City's red.
Right. Yeah, my theory that I threw out a moment ago doesn't really make a ton of sense, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson against a receiving core of like real ones is an intriguing matchup to me. I was honestly surprised. Part of me felt like Mike Evans was going to. He's the type of guy that will attack another person. We've seen it in the past. And going up against Detroit last week, I was just on the edge of my seat waiting for like an Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan situation. You know, just somebody getting their head pounded in. Didn't happen. But Johnson is playing against a couple guys in Debo and Ayuk this week that if you push the buttons right, you know, like you can maybe get a punch thrown or two. And he is one of the, if not the most like the biggest irritators in the league. He's good at it. He like knows how to get under these guys' skin. That could be interesting. I think they're smart enough to, you know, like you're one game away from the Super Bowl. If only DK Metcalf was playing in this game, like he'd be out in the first quarter.
All right, so we're seeing a bench clearing brawl.
I want to see somebody take Brian Branch's stupid mouthpiece out of his helmet and
is that the thing that's like this?
That is not a guy I'd want to mess with either, but that does annoy me as well. But if it were an all-out brawl, can you imagine Dan Campbell just ripping Kyle Shanahan in half, just like over his head? Just
his arm. He's gonna take his arms off.
So who wins that brawl? Okay, so if we're going matching up position players, who wins between Jared Goff and Brock Purdy?
Jared Goff.
I'm taking Purdy. Yeah. Jared Goff's got a lot of Eli Manning in him. Yeah, I mean, he'll just fall down when people get around him. I'll take Purdy in that fight. He seems scrappy.
Jared Goff just has so much more length.
Aiden Hutchinson versus Nick Bosa.
Oh my God! The way that Hutchinson,
I want to take Hutchinson there.
Yeah, Bosa's soft.
I don't know if he's soft.
That would be sick, though.
He looks quite the opposite. The best dream scenario would be Penei Sewell against Trent Williams, and that would be like, and then it's like there's like a tear in the fabric of the universe.
Yeah.
Like everything just black hole and just gets absorbed into it, and that's how everything ends.
It's like those fights in Dragon Ball Z when like
Yes.
the Super Saiyan and then it's like
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like Bosa like tears his legs and puts lotion on it? You know, that's kind of how I picture Bosa. Yeah, nah, just me. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Wargo, how does this play into your pick?
Yeah.
The lotion on his legs.
Like a beach boy. You know what I'm saying? Go on.
I think it does play into my pick.
Yep.
I think Luke makes a good point. I've said this before.
Yeah.
Detroit plays scrappy. I mean, they're just a scrappy team. They make some of the questionable hits. I think I did at one time compare them to, who's the guy that just got kicked off of the Olympic basketball team for being an idiot? Draymond Green. They're the Draymond Green of the NFL. And Nick Bosa, I just have that memory burned into my head of him complaining about the offensive tackle that would jump the snap count to get better blocks on him. And
doesn't he have a brother too? And he's kind of a whiner.
For Bosa?
Joey plays
Bosa?
for the Chargers, yeah.
Oh, wait, that's who I'm thinking of, actually. Shit. Well, same thing. I think Detroit's going to get under their skin, kind of rattle up those Cali boys and, defend the NFC North. They're just too tough. Right? Detroit team's too tough. They're going to get to California, and they're going to be like, man, you guys just live out here? No wonder you're so soft. Hell out of them. So
we play in a dome on turf. You guys are soft.
I want to see the Chiefs, Detroit Chiefs. I really do want that. That's what the Super Bowl I want to see.
Well, your picks would suggest otherwise.
Well, I would like the Ravens in it too. I guess. You know what? Yeah.
You're switching?
All Tom can think about right now is lotion.
Nick Bosa's quads just in his face.
Really shiny,
You get Tom a leg lamp from Christmas Story, but just Nick Bosa's leg.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a huge lamp.
Hey, Nick Bosa, if you were watching this, I'm sorry.
Read the mold of your leg.
He's definitely not watching this. It's okay.
Jesse, what was your pick again?
Yeah, I took the Niners.
You're a piece of shit.
That wraps up our picks for the conference championships, AFC, NFC this weekend. There was some Bears news this week, some pretty big news. One of the coordinator positions was filled. Shane Waldron will be the offensive coordinator of the Bears next season. So anybody got any thoughts on that?
Heard it here first.
I think he's going to kick Fields out. I think he wants he's been dealing with veterans and people that have been in the league. I think he wants a new, fresh mind to mold.
But he oversaw the Geno Smith comeback.
I know he's over that. He's done. He wants something different.
But don't you think that's why Chicago brought him in?
I did a little bit of research on Shane Waldron, and he's had some time with some different quarterbacks in the league. He was with Geno, obviously, most recently. He did spend 1 year with Russell Wilson, Russell's last year in Seattle. He spent some time in Los Angeles with Jared Goff.
Yeah,
before he got shipped out to Detroit.
LA.
So he does have experience with different types of quarterbacks. I think each of those guys kind of brings their own skill set to the table. Fields, I think, would be the most athletic quarterback that he would have worked with to date if the Bears did decide to hang on to him. One thing to note, however, is Waldron's play calling this year was basically the exact opposite of the Chicago Bears. They passed the ball about 64% of the time, and the Bears ran the ball about 64% of the time. The Seahawks and the Bears offense both averaged about 20 points per game. However, the Bears did that averaging 5 more minutes time of possession per game than the Seahawks. So it tells you that the Seahawks offense is a little bit more efficient, or I guess works a little bit more quickly than the Bears did this year. So I think that the Bears leaning on the run game this year kind of led to that time of possession differential for them, because obviously if you're running the ball, the clock's running, right? If you're passing the ball more, the clock's stopping when there's incomplete passes and whatnot. But I do think it's an interesting move for the Bears, kind of flipping the offense on its head, or at least at first glance, that's what it looks like is going to happen. With Fields and how that pertains to him, if they hang on to him, it's a lot for we've talked about this before. He's been under a few different offensive coordinators in his short time in Chicago, so he now has to learn a new offense under a new offensive coordinator once again. Does he really want to do that? Do the Bears coaches really want to put him through that? So I think that will go into their consideration when they determine whether or not to hang on to him or to draft a young talent with one of those high picks next year.
I mean, I don't think it shows our hand, really, the hiring of Shane Waldron, which is one thing that we were talking about a lot last week or the week prior. But we want to kind of play that one close to our chest and not, give anybody any inkling as to what we're going to do as to get the most value out of it. And I don't think this hire really tips our hand or more, tips us one way or the other. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Like 60-40, we get a new guy, or what are we assigning here?
Yeah, it's 50-50, I feel like. I don't think anybody knows except for the Bears.
Plus 100.
I don't think the Bears know quite yet.
Yeah.
I think that it's still like it's very fluid. As much as I wish it wasn't, it's just like I really don't have a feel for where this is going to go. It's strange, like they just announced today, like Raheem Morris just got the job in Atlanta, so now Belichick is still available. You have the best coach ever out there, and you're just like, well, we said Eberflus, though. It's like, guys, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, can we do it just seems strange that Harbaugh was never. There was no like hinting at that Chicago was an option. Same thing with Belichick, like these whales that are out there. Vrabel's still available, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just like Bears are like Eberflus. He's the answer. It's like,
let's pull Milwaukee Bucks. Let's fire him and bring in a better one.
Yeah. I mean, the Bucks were 30-13 when they fired that guy.
Yeah.
We're in a little bit of a different position, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems I'm not feeling super pessimistic about it. I just am kind of like, what are we doing? It's just strange. But we're in limbo. And
if they bring in a new head coach, the new head coach has to give every single guy a new nickname, and they just don't want to do that.
Yeah,
that's true.
100%.
That's true.
So,
welcome to Chicago, Shane.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think
Shane Walrus is what they're calling him already.
Do we want to talk free agents? I talked about this when we were playing games the other day. A couple free agent wide receivers, running backs out there. Do you guys think that we could pick any of those guys up? I
don't even know who is a free agent.
Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett package deal.
Let me see here. The running backs, we got
Darnell Mooney part
Saquon, which he probably would be too expensive. Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard. I think we need a running back.
We can't go get a running back. We're not going to do
For
that.
less than $10 million a year, I bet we could do it.
We need to be very smart about where we spend our cap space now.
If we
do have some pieces,
bringing a nice running back.
Look at teams that pay running backs, aside from the 49ers, because they haven't paid their quarterback, so they can pay their running back. They all aren't doing that well.
Josh Jacobs, Saquon, Derrick Henry.
I don't know what the Lions gave David Montgomery, but that may be an exception there.
That's what I'm saying. At like a 7 mils a year.
You can't get any of those guys for that amount.
I'm just looking at. I just was telling you the free agents.
If you can get Derrick Henry for $7 million a year, that's good.
Devin Singletary, AJ Dillon, Zach Moss.
I would rather have.
Now you're getting into the range that you're going to get $7 million. So that's the thing is like. Is Zach Moss an improvement over what we currently have on the roster?
I think so.
You're biased because you had him on your fantasy team.
I would disagree. I don't think that he is an improvement. If you have to pay him $7 million, if you can get him on like a Travis Homer deal where it was I think it was 1 year. Like I don't know. It would be a guess, but it'd be like it'd be half of what you're saying basically.
What about if we can get a number 2, number 3 wide receiver? For how much do those go for?
We're gonna get a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver in the draft to go with DJ Moore.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, fuck my ideas, guys. Sorry.
Places that I would be looking for free agents would be
this is
defensive
there
line, defensive end, defensive tackle.
You don't think we need more weapons on offense?
Safe. We do, but we're gonna get them in the draft.
We're gonna get a rookie. We don't know.
We can get a veteran fringe 2-3 wide receiver.
Mike Evans.
Too much. But a veteran
wouldn't mind it.
What is he?
He's only had like 9 1,000-yard seasons in a row. He's a huge red zone target. He
31.
can catch the ball 75% of the time. He's pretty good.
We got to beef up these lines.
He does have.
Don't worry about these little fast guys. We need monsters and lots of them. Look at a defensive line like Philly. They got 3 defensive lines.
They suck ass. So
their back end was terrible. Their defense wasn't as good this year, granted. But when you look at that roster and you look at all the dudes that are on that defensive line, they just run them out there. And granted, some of them are at the end of the road, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, but depth in the trenches is where, in my opinion, where this team needs to focus.
I agree.
They've got the assets at the top of the draft to get some playmakers. But I think
a veteran. That's what I guess I want. Some like a nice.
In free agency,
we do need to beef them up. I agree.
You know what we need?
Let's put
running back.
money aside. Who's a veteran that you'd want to see them sign?
I don't know.
Not a skill position.
Someone that's been in the league, 4 or 5 years. Not necessarily a veteran.
We got one of those guys on the defensive line towards the end of the year. His name's Montez Sweat. We need to get more guys like that.
Yeah.
I think we need to get a center to snap our quarterback the ball.
That would be great.
Interior offensive line could be upgraded as well. Cody Whitehair probably needs to go. Lucas Patrick's of the world, it's been a fun ride, but we need to get some real dudes in there. Tevin Jenkins, that last game of the year was just things were going well, but now it's what's happening here. So, like I said, I think it's depth in the interior on both sides, and I just want one of those teams where it's just like you said, like San Fran, where it's just every guy, that guy's awesome, and we're making a little bit of progress towards that, but we still need some more depth.
Cool.
Cool.
You know.
When was this?
Well,
Jesse,
What's up?
what are you looking up? Conspiracy theories?
No, I'm looking up free agency rankings, interior defensive lineman. Chris Jones. He's going to be on the market. He's old, but
Matabike from Baltimore. That dude is
Justin Matabike, he's number
he,
2.
he looks like Aaron Donald's older brother. But like he like used to bully Aaron Donald, but not when they were kids, like 2 weeks ago. Like he's a specimen.
Remember Warren Sapp, dude? That guy was wild.
He's coaching for University of Colorado next year. Deion recruited him.
yikes.
There's a lot of veterans that are going to be available. Fletcher Cox, Calais Campbell. These are old guys, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you can maybe get one of those guys on a cheap deal, I'd say for sure. But the Bears, I think I'd seen yesterday, are still ninth in terms of cap space going into next year. So the splashability of like signing a guy who's coming off an early contract like a Matabike, that possibility is out there. The Bears are not limited to like not being able to sign like a big name in free agency. But that's where I kind of give Poles a little bit of credit. He seems to have been very mindful about not putting all of his eggs in one basket. And, you know, he's managed this tax, the salary cap, and what appears to be pretty well thus far. So, and I hadn't seen any of like the moves that he had made coming. So for me to be like, oh, this guy, that guy, I don't know. But I am still happy with what we've got available there in addition to the picks.
Like no matter what happens this offseason, I think we're going in the right direction.
Top three edge rushers. Josh Allen, Brian Burns, Daniil Hunter.
Josh Allen.
If we can get any one of those guys.
He's still on the Jaguars, Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hunter's a little bit older, but it's all about, you know, kind of like you get the older guy, shorter contract, you know, and if you can get your hands on an Allen or Brian Burns, lock these guys up. Like these are prime positions. So, and that's kind of what they did with Sweat. So you can get a guy on the other side of him that's his equal in terms of their capability. That'd be pretty awesome.
Bring Leonard Floyd back.
I did
Andrew Van Ginkel. That's a guy I'd love to see in a Bears jersey.
You'd have a Van Ginkel jersey like within 24 hours of the signing.
Yeah.
You could finally get rid of your Mitch jersey. Stop wearing it.
Guys, fun fact. Jesse sent me a photo from Facebook. My nephew was wearing a Trubisky jersey to the dance. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's something.
Wait, they have dances? How old is he?
Huh?
How old is he? They're already dancing?
7th grade, dude.
It was like a middle school dance or something.
Okay.
I mean, he's repping Trubisky out there. I need to buy him a different jersey.
I vaguely
Chitown
remember
Lowdown.
the first middle school dance I went to. I think I wore – you remember when it was cool to wear a white T-shirt and then like a T-shirt over the top?
100%.
I like did a full spike mohawk. I was like jamming out to Green Day or something, dude.
In the 90s. Wait, we were in the 2000s, but whatever.
Yeah.
Mom made me wear a button-up shirt to Pierce dance. First experience meeting new people in Chile. She made me wear a button-up shirt to a Pierce dance. They were playing Windows to the Wall, and it was social suicide. She tried to set me up for failure. I persevered. But my God.
And then your little brother Jesse comes out with his spiky ass hair. What up?
Yeah.
Oh God.
All right.
Tough one for Tom
Who
tonight.
wants
Guys.
to button this one up?
What's
Wargo
up?
usually does that.
Who wants to button it up?
Oh yeah. Nah, somebody else signing off today. I'm feeling
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe as always. Obviously we'll be back next week for Super Bowl picks. Maybe we all pick a few prop bets for that. We'll see. Get really into the weeds with some of the weirder stuff. I know Wargo's probably already scheming, but again, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you next week for some Super Bowl picks.
yeah.